It is not that good of a time, however, to maybe be a business owner. Your unemployment tax rates may be about to double. Here to explain it, Teye Reeves with the Florida Chamber of Commerce. She's a policy director. Ms. Reeves, good morning. Welcome to the morning show.
Good morning.
What can you tell? And I know it's not necessarily news to business owners, but I think it is news to some of us who frequent these businesses and presumably will be paying more because they're just going to be passing these increase in taxes on us. What can you tell our listeners about what's going on?
Sure. We saw the numbers come out this last week for what the estimate increase in unemployment comp taxes are going to be. And just to put it into perspective, last year at the minimum tax rate, it was about $72 per employee. At the maximum rate, it was $378. So this next year, going into 2012, it's estimated that it'll be $171 per employee at the minimum rate, and then $459 per employee at the maximum rate. So it's a substantial hit to Florida businesses during a time when we're looking to the business community to create jobs and get Floridians back to work.
Now, the Florida Chamber of Commerce, you guys have a long track record of being just advocates, people that really look out for the businesses in the state. What's your response been? Obviously, you're not pleased with it, and can you do anything about it?
Sure. This last year, we worked to put into statute tax relief for 2012. It's a 10% reduction in the experience rating, which will help. But this next year, we're going to come back in and we're going to ask for additional tax relief. The Unemployment Comp Trust Fund just isn't meant to deal with rates of unemployment like this for as long as it's been going on. So there's two different ways that we're looking at right now. One is to address the fund balance recoupment, which is the cushion that we have right now in the UC Trust Fund, and the other is to reduce the wage base, or to keep it at $7,000. It's going to go up to $8,500 at the beginning of 2012.
Now, these are all things that require legislative action, I'm assuming?
Absolutely, yes.
And is it fair to say that the increase that we're currently seeing in unemployment taxes for businesses, is this because of previous legislative action? And how back does this go?
Well, I mean, the increase that we're seeing is because of the high unemployment rates that we've had. Unemployment has been through the roof right now. Our unemployment rate is at 10.6%. That's over 900,000 Floridians that are out of work. We're not, when you compare Florida to other states, we're in bad shape, but we're not as bad as some other states. And so this is just it's long-term unemployment, and our UC system just wasn't meant for it. It wasn't developed for it. So now we're going in and we're trying to provide businesses some relief in the meantime while we turn the economy around. I mean, ideally, the way to solve this problem is to reduce unemployment.
Well, and that which leads me to my next question. I know that we continue to see the numbers announced, and I know that Governor Scott and his office like to talk about the fact that we lead the nation in job growth. But we continue to have one of the highest unemployment rates in the country, if I'm not mistaken. And let's just assume that it takes a little while, maybe partly because the federal policies are so bad, if that's your mind frame on it. So let's assume it stays like this. What else can you do other than try to grow jobs or the tax relief and things like that? Is there anything you can do as far as modifying the number of people that are eligible for such things, or is it fair to assume that this is just going to continue in the future?
Sure. This last year, a part of the legislation that we pushed at the Chamber, we reduced the number of eligible weeks, and it ties it to the unemployment rate. So a lot of states started doing this, and Florida was among them. Amongst other reforms, we strengthened definitions of misconduct to try to reduce abuse and fraud in the system. And then also there's now, as a condition of eligibility, an initial skills review. So if an individual would like to collect unemployment comp, they have to enroll in a program where their skill set is reviewed, and then they're put into classes that build on their existing skill set. So really it's turning, or we're trying to turn the unemployment system to a reemployment system. And this next year you're going to see legislation that builds on what we tried to do last year to ensure that individuals, when they're looking for jobs, have built on their existing skill set, and that they have value to Florida businesses.
I like the idea of the reemployment and the skills training. and say, okay, well, if you're going to collect this money, then you've got to be doing something for it. You've got to be improving yourself. But if no additional jobs are being created, or that we continue to see businesses have to cut people and lose jobs at the same rate that some of these new jobs are being created, it seems like all we're doing is making it more competitive, right? So, have we seen previously where those types of programs can make a difference on the unemployment rate?
I think that when we're looking to what Florida businesses are looking for and to make sure that Florida is competitive in the global economy, you have to look to anything that can build upon what skill set an individual already has.
We're talking real fast, Ms. Reeves, talking to Teye Reeves with the Florida Chamber of Commerce, and I just want to. I know this isn't necessarily, you came on to talk about the unemployment insurance taxes and what it's going to mean, and the fact that all businesses are going to be having to pay this more. Just how much more are we talking about for some of the bigger businesses here in the state?
Oh, we're easily talking about millions of dollars
for the Disneys, the Publixes, that kind of stuff.
Absolutely, but not to take slight at how much this is going to cost small businesses, because really, when it comes down to it, it's really the small business community that's going to feel most of the pain. 4 out of 5 of the new jobs that are going to be created in Florida are going to be created by the small business community. And when small business owners have been polled and have been asked, what is your future outlook, the majority say that they're going to maintain their existing workforce. Only 30% are looking to increase their workforce. So with the rise in unemployment, comp taxes, there's a workers' comp rate increase that's going to start at the beginning of January. And if you are a small business looking to open your doors in Florida, your unemployment comp taxes are almost a barrier to entry, because as soon as you open your doors, you've got to have the capital on the front end to know that you're going to be paying at least $171 per employee.
And is that a federal requirement or is that a state requirement?
That's what the tax rate is going to be at the minimum rate going into 2012.
Right. So yeah, it's tough times for the business community. Do the businesses tell you that what their issue is, and this speaks again to the reemployment, is a skill deficit? I mean, you talk about competing globally, and we talked last hour about some of the education performance differences between here and the rest of the world. But is one of the reasons why you think that we struggle because of the skills of the workforce, or is it just because of some of the obstacles and the policies that you're referencing that just from a price standpoint make us uncompetitive?
Well, I think that we have a changing economy. If you look to the industries that have been hit the hardest, the two that have been hit the hardest are construction and manufacturing. And so as we look forward to what Florida's diversified economy should look like, we need to make sure that our employees are just as competitive as the states that we're competing with. So whether that's New York or whether that's Texas or California.
And how do you measure that? Just by education level?
No, I mean, I think that you look to the industries that are drawn to the state. And so when a business is looking to whether or not they're going to move to Florida, they look at what the general business climate is. And so you're looking to also who are your future employees going to be.
Good stuff. That's Teye Reeves with the Florida Chamber of Commerce. Sadly, you have to be the bearer of bad news this morning. So, we won't blame the messenger, but we will be watching, because I'm sure you guys will have some things coming up that we'll attempt to address this, and we'll have you back on when you have things to discuss on that front, okay?
Thank you very much.
That's Teye Reeves with the Florida Chamber of Commerce.